महादेवी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्.
Namaste. Today I am going to talk about spirituality, mythology and the impact of life. Now many people don't understand Puranas are not written vaguely. They are patterns of destiny which unfolds in a person's life. That is why Puranas are rewritten again and again. They say the history repeats itself. In Purana, the patterns of destiny keep on repeating in a person's life. So please understand, Puranas have a very, very deep impact. Now, I will give you an example of Purana of Lord Ram. Lord Ram had a particular pattern. He had a pattern. He was born in one place, got educated in one place, he got married in another place, he met an enemy out of the continent, and he underwent a lot of changes. The same manner, people are either inside or outside. Duryodhan had a lot of good things happening to him in one place. He was born in Hastinapur and he became the king of Hastinapur, and everything happened in Hastinapur itself. So the point is, you need to understand the basic concept of inside outside. Now once you understand this in Purana, you can apply it in people's life. There are people who are born in one place, they study till 10th in one place, 12th in another place, they study in college in another place, and then they try to study, then they try to get married in another place, and then they try to go it across. So the point is, now if the person tries to retro, then he will have a lot of problem. There was a guy who called me up and he said, "Sir, I'm abroad. Now, do you think I can come back to India and get a work?" I said, "No, you can't go in retro. Since you have go further. That is how your life will be better across the person." Now, he did not understand. Whenever you go retro, you will have a lot of problem. That's what Lord Ram life happened. He went back to Ayodhya. Again, he had a problem with Sita, and Sita permanently left him as a person. So Puranas are patterns of destiny which gets echoed in people's life. Now many people identify with a character. For example, somebody is very giving, we call him Karna. Somebody is very mean, we call him Duryodhan. Sometimes somebody is a very elderly man who guides other people like Bhishma. There can be only two types of students. One is like that of the great Arjuna or that of Ekalavya. Ekalavya was a self-taught. He took the great Drona as an inspiration and he started developing so much of skill equivalent to that of Arjuna. That is a self-taught student. Arjuna is finding the right teacher. Arjuna is finding the right guru in a person's life. That's all. Now once you understand this particular concept of a good student and a bad student, you will be able to decipher out a lot of things. See, this is a pattern of destiny. The other one is there are two types of gurus. The guru is like Drona, a guru for good and bad, and a variety of people. He became a huge guru. And there are people like Krishna, who's a guru, but who camouflages it, but who knows a lot of things. And therefore, please understand that there are two types of gurus. A guru like Drona, who trains a lot of people in skill. There are gurus like Krishna, who actually are very good with their skill, but who camouflages a variety of things. So you need to come to an understanding that Puranas not only represents the character. When somebody is very negative, when somebody is very manipulative, what do we tell him? We tell him he's like Sakuni Mam. For example, the what you call it as, there was a guy in the UP politics who was very close to Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav. His name was Amar Singh, and people called him and told him he's like Sakuni Mama. He's like a Sakuni. He tries to create a lot of problem for others, and he tries to create a lot of difficulty for others, and he called him as Sakuni. So the main problem with many people is they not only identify the character, but remember, these Puranas do represent a lot of things. For example, there are Hinduja brothers. There are 4 brothers, and they are very financially very successful as a Now you take most of the Asuras will be 3 in brothers. For example, the Skanda Purana talks about the 3 Asuras, and the Ravan had 3 brothers. Ravan, Kumbhakarnan, and of course the great Vibhishan. So the point is, you understand these kind of patterns do get repeat. Now, there are women who have multiple affairs. For example, Draupadi life is said to have 5 brothers and sisters. 5 brothers, she had an affair. But it is impossible. I saw a documentary in Assam. These kind of models of marriage are still prevalent. Women getting married to 5 men, 5 brothers, because they don't want the property to get segregated. They don't want to lose out on the property. So they get married to the same women, and all of them take turn to live one day at a time. So the point is, now many people don't think people like Draupadi exist. They do exist. If you see the actress, if you see them, they're having multiple affairs, they meet a multiple of people. Such is the easy thing, you can look into it. The second one is, there are people like Sita. We tell him, oh, she's like Sita, very calm, very collected, very composed, very Inish, very feminish across. Now, this is also a representation of what you call it as not only the character, but the pattern of living across. And also, if you see, normally people suffer a lot for 14 to 15 years. That is the same Vanava story of Panchapandava. I know one of my friend who actually came back and he told me, he said, I don't want to have my Vanavas, I want to come out of it as a person. So the point is, we can see people have 14 to 15 years of very difficult time, then they come out of it. Remember, Purana also carry the nakshatra. I have seen lot of people who are Punarvasu cannot get along with their parents. They are away from the parents. They really love the parents, but there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding. Now I know there are a lot of Jeshta. They put on weight. Now Jeshta is the nakshatra of Lord Vinayaka, not Hasta. Jeshta is the nakshatra of Vinayaka. They love to eat good food. They love sweets. They are very educated. They are very intelligent. They love to write a lot. Now if you see, that is the character of that deity. Now, for example, Ashwini, most people are very good with medicine. Ashwini Kumara is supposed to be the representation of the god. So the point is, Joseph Campbell talks about the man with 1,000 masks. He says mythology represents the hero's journey. No, it's not only hero's journey. It represents the very character itself. For example, Asilesha. Most of them will be like last born is the Chaturughan nakshatra, Ram, Lakshman and Bharatan Chaturughan nakshatra. So you understand Tiruvona is supposed to be Lord Tirupati's Balaji's nakshatra. Now once you understand this, once you understand that the nakshatra will give the character and the shape, and also Rogini. I've seen a lot of people who worship Perumal as a Rogini as their children. Rogini born as their children. So if you're a strong Vaishnavite, normally you can have Rogini, Punarvasu, Tribhona, all these nakshatra people are born. So such is the power of the Puranas. So please don't underestimate. It is said in Skanda Purana, whenever Saturn moon combines together in Rogini, there are a lot of calamity happen. Actually that happened, that was the WTC tower. So the WTC tower was hit by the Muslim terrorist. So the point is, you please understand, Puranas carry a lot of value. There's a lot of meaning. It's not only it has astrological combination, but also medical sequencing, the usage of mercury and all that thing. Such is the power of the Puranas. So please don't underestimate it. Try to read it from a very deeper perspective. You will understand a lot. I have used to read even in English that the Puranas carry a lot of things. The east to west story is Ramayana, north to south story is that of Duryodhana. The Pancha Pandava represents a fight among the family. It represents the hero's journey. Ram represents the hero's journey. So therefore Purana carry a lot of value. Please utilize it. Thank you. Now today I am going to talk about the rules of the sadhana. The first and the foremost important thing of the rules of the sadhana is what is the aim of your life. There are 4 aims in life, which is Artha, Kama, Moksha, Dharma. Now people ask the 4 Purushartha, which is classified in the scripture. Artha talks about money, and Kama talks about relationship, Dharma talks about doing social service across, and Jnana talks about reaching God and enlightenment and all that thing. So the problem with doing the sadhana is this 4 Purushartha. Now many people want to do the sadhana for spirituality across, and they would like to go into the spiritual sense across. Which is very good, and many people try, and many people ask me the question, will I get enlightened, will I get moksha, will this be the last birth in my life across? Now this is a very very valuable question, because at least the mind in the old age is focused towards God, spirituality, the subtle things of life across. But the problem is you can enhance the sadhana by becoming very very clear about certain things. First thing is, knowledge is power. So it is very important that you read about the different life stories of great people. These life stories of great people will inspire you. It does not really matter which tradition do you follow. You can follow the Sufism, you can follow the Nathpanthi, you can follow the Nath Parampara, or you can follow the Sadasiva Brahmendra. Try to read, because that will give you a lot of knowledge and idea. Most people do not read. They listen to the lectures. They don't read the original textbook. That is one of the main reason why people get cheated across into their life. The second one is, Do not try to search for a single guru. There are many people who feel that if I reach a guru like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he will help me to get enlightened. If I try to reach a guru like that of Bhagavan Nityananda, I will get enlightened across. It is very true that if you find such a great soul, if you find such a great man of caliber who can lift your consciousness from the drossness of life, that is very great. But it is like a pearl, very difficult to find, very, very difficult to even find out a person who will be like that, because many of the so-called Babas today use other people's energy, use their other people's name, use their other people's strength to develop their own self. They become multi-billionaires and they exploit everybody's wages and labor. So please understand that whenever you are going to an ashram or you are going to a place, there is nothing wrong in doing voluntary service, but do not believe because you do voluntary service you will get enlightened and your guru will take care of your journey. Far from it. Actually, there are many gurus who have to be taken care by the disciple across. Now I met one Swamiji and along with one of my friend, and he said he wanted a website across. So we told him that we cannot give you a website unless you pay for it. He got very angry and wild. He said, how can you take money from a sannyasi? You have to do it free. You expect me to pay for you. That is the kind of temerity or arrogance people have into their life. There are many Babas who have gone berserk and who have lost their marbles and who have done lot of sins, and their background is very, very shady. It is not only Dera Sacha Sauda, you have to be careful with all these Babas. Now I read about one Christian pastor whom I was very admiring about. The shadiness by which he has operated really put me off. So the second thing is, be your own guru, be your own sadhak, apadipo bhava. That is the main point. The third important rule of the sadhana is to do daily practice. Whether you are doing homam, whether you are doing japa, whether you are doing puja, have the practice every day. That is very, very important in day-to-day life. The problem with many people is they think listening to YouTube lecture or listening to some kind of lectures will help you to elevate consciousness. No, it is only the practice which will help you to become better and better. Nothing is more helpful than a daily practice across, because the daily practice, the antakarna will open up, the divine light energy will come up, it will cleanse your senses and you will come into the next level of consciousness. So please understand that you have to do the mantra every day. Now mantra or any kind of dhyana, even if you are doing yoga, anything across, please be willing to do it every day. And the second thing is, the amount of time which can be spent for the sadhana has to be improved. You have to spend more than 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Ideally, you should be able to do morning 4 hours, evening 4 hours of sadhana, which will be very, very helpful to you. There are Tibetan monks who don't go to sleep, who sit up and who tries to go to sleep across. They sleep only 4 to 5 hours into the life across. So please understand, you need to do sadhana 4 to 8 hours a day, which is very important. Of course, you have time for OTT platforms, for seeing notification or being with the social media, but please remember, all these things will go away and death is something very permanent about you. The next important question you have to ask yourself is, if death comes today, what is it I am willing to let go in my life, or what is it the time I needed to get things done across? If death were to come today, within the next 7 days, what would you do in your daily life? Such is the focus which is being required across. Now many people don't ask this simple question: when death comes into my life, what do I do it across? Now this is another problem with many people, because remembering death, we will do the sadhana. And the fifth most important thing is there will be karmic churning which will be happening, because when you do the mantra or the devata, it is very, very important to understand that the karmic churning will happen, and that will make you to change the people, situation, circumstances, idea, attitude, including the hairstyle. There will be a lot of changes which will be happening across. God will be pulling you towards more and more, which means you have to let go your duty, your responsibility, the ways of doing things in life across. That will be a main problem for many people, because they believe that nothing will change, everything will continue. Wrong. If the mantra is that of Chaitanya, or if it is awakened across, it will definitely make a huge impact into your life. Any sadhana which is live wire will shock you, rock you, and it will even mock you, telling about the human limitation across. So get yourself focused, get yourself understand that this karmic churning is bound to happen. The next thing is, don't do ugra mantras, don't do tantric mantras without having a proper guidance. We have put this class in the Tantra sadhana, we have put this class in the Mantram Shastram across. Please go ahead and buy these two classes, not for my sake. I'm not selling the class for the class, because there is a huge misconception, there is a huge misunderstanding about the particular sadhana itself, how it should be done across. This is one of the main problem why these people have it in their day-to-day life. So please understand that you need a proper framework and understanding when you're doing the mantra. So it is better you buy the original textbooks, and there are not many textbooks are available in India, because there is a very small minuscule of people. For example, you can buy engineering books, whereas this kind of books, it will be very, very difficult to buy both online and offline across, because this will be very difficult to publish in that. So the fifth rule of sadhana, as I told you across, is to make sadhana the priority and allow the karmic churning to happen. And the sixth most important thing is, whenever you have a problem, take it as a part of the challenge of the sadhana. Every sadhak has to be like a woman. When a woman gets into the problem, they try to chant, they try to pray, they try to talk to God. So in the same manner across, you try to communicate with God and try to get the divine guidance and solve the problem. If you have a sick child, you have a difficult brother, or you have a difficult wife or a husband, or you are financially not okay, use that point as a sadhana. Sadhana and life are not different. Sadhana and life are just the same thing. Once you realize that, your practice will get deep, and in every kind of problem you will be able to manage across. The next most important thing is, pray for the world. For example, there has been a tsunami in Tango, so please pray for those people. Like that, there are many worldly places where a lot of people have a lot of pain and suffering which are immense, and which they find it very difficult to do it across. Now this particular way that we do pray for others, pray for the rains in certain places, pray for the tsunami to go away in certain places across. So this is the most important thing in your life across, which is very, very important. Now do not try to avoid it by not getting into the worldly problem. Get involved. If everything is okay in your family life, pray for the world. That is very important. Then teach meditation for others. The more you teach, the more you grow across as a person. And the other most important thing is, do some physical activity which will be very, very helpful to you. If you are not able to sleep, sit down, take the mantra and do it across. You can combine 2-3 techniques across. It need not be a single technique across. The other important thing is to practice loving kindness. In the name of sadhana, don't try to bring in hatred, anger, kill and mind people. This is Vasudhaiva Kudumbam. Everybody is the body of God, and many people have ignorance across, and that is one of the main problem why there is a lot of suffering into the world. To overcome the suffering, all of us need to practice loving kindness. So loving kindness is more important than anything else in life across. So I request you that may you really do your sadhana, and may you get awakened with the sadhana. Thank you. Namaste. Many people want to follow the Tantra sadhana because it is very attractive, and also Tantra sadhana prescribes about having relationship with many women, and it also talks about doing bizarre things like drinking, smoking, eating non-veg. All these things are attributed to Tantra sadhana. So many people feel that the Tantra is suited to them because it helps them to cater to their what you call it as the carnal desires of life. First of all, you have to understand, you have to ask yourself the simple question, are you qualified for the Tantra? Now many people have the problem, they think they can choose the Tantra sadhana. It's actually wrong. Tantra sadhana chooses you, or if you are going to have greatness or a great destiny, the Tantra sadhana will choose you and come towards you. Sadhana is like marriage, sadhana is like all the good things of life. You don't need to go in search of it, it will come in search of you. The second one is, whenever you are going to have a Tantra sadhana, you are going to get connected to a very, very qualified teacher or teacher who is very well experienced in the path of Tantra. Many people try to follow the Tantra Marga without the teacher. You will have a lot of problem in your life. So please understand, you have to follow the Tantra Marga with the guidance of the teacher. If you do not have teacher, then it means you are not the chosen one for the Tantra. Now many people try to read books, especially Agori by Robert Subhadav, and try to read the many textbooks, and they think they understand Tantra. Wrong. Tantra cannot be understood by reading books. It is a very, very practical sadhana, and it is also helps you with the opening of the death vortex. The black vortex is opened up, so the people experience this black vortex and they will be able to overcome this black vortex is the very quintessence of Tantra. So Tantra cannot be practiced part-time, Tantra cannot be practiced with a guru, and Tantra cannot be practiced by or without qualification or kind of initiation is required in the Tantra Marga. So many people try to follow the Tantra Marga without understanding all these things are required. Now many people don't have a guru, don't have a deep understanding of Tantra, especially they don't realize it's an opening of the dark vortex. For example, if your moon is afflicted, if you have Rahu Ketu with the many planets, please don't do Tantra Sadhana because you can go mad. Your emotional body has to be very, very strong to be able to take the impact of the lower astral, especially the Bhuta, Peta, Pisas. So the point is, if you are not able to deal with the lower astral, many people develop megalomaniac attitude, obsessive compulsive neurosis, and many people end up in the psychiatric asylum. So please understand that unless you have a guru, unless you are invited, please do not get into these kind of Tantra sadhana which can create you a lot of problems. I humbly request you, Tantra means it's a technique, I understand it's a fast way to move to God, but then if you're going to go into a motor racing, if you are going to go into car racing, you would be required to have a good guru, good equipment, good practice, generally you'll survive. If you are going to participate in a car race without a proper equipment, you will get smoldered to ashes. So therefore, this is the main aspect of Tantra. Once you understand this, it's very easy to understand whether you're qualified or you're not qualified. Tantra is not about sleeping with many women. All that thing is not possible. So please understand this and look into the other videos about Tantra, which you can really help yourself, because these are videos done by an experienced sadhak. It is not done by because I want to talk about Tantra sadhana and all that thing. Thank you so much. Namaste. Today we are going to talk about the major trends in the world which are going to break off in the next 20 years. All these trends will be very, very useful to you. First of all, most of the people try to blame astrologers. They simply say, I am not an astrologer, so do not ask me. They say, I am not a person who can predict the future. But future can be predicted provided you know the trends which are breaking across. The first and the most important trend breaking is the end of money. The end of money does not mean the money is going to disappear. The physical money is going to disappear, which means no more there will be coin and notes. There will be digital money which will be available, which people will try to transact that digital money everywhere. Now, for example, there won't be any kind of exchange. It will be all done through a payment gateway of different modes. For example, you have Paytm today, PayU Money, MobiQuick. These are different things which will evolve, where even if you go to a tea shop and try to pay 50 rupees or 100 rupees for a tea, you would be able to transfer that money. No longer the physical money will be available. It will be a major change which will be coming in the 20 years. In fact, everything will be definitely a digital money. You will find it very, very difficult to transact money itself. In fact, future you will have museum which tells humanity has used these kinds of note, these kind of coins across. The spillover effect of it is the banking industry will undergo a massive change. The banking industry will go where you no longer will earn money through fixed deposit or through recurring deposit. All those banking instruments which we use will slowly get deleted. For example, checks will get deleted. For example, draft will get deleted. Lot of these things will get deleted across into daily living. The problem with many people is they are not aware, and many people are trying to work in the bank. Remember, in the next 10 years of your time, your banking industry will undergo a massive change. You will have job losses, job cut, where bank will be only an instrument of lending, and no longer you would be able to deposit the money in the banks and make money out of interest. You need to use financial instruments like stock market, mutual funds, gold, ETF. All that thing will be happening across. The third one is all the payments will get digital. For example, standing in the queue, electricity bill, any bill you would be able to pay digital, where the entire train booking, flight booking, anywhere where you are standing in the queue, where you need a receipt, everything will become digital. Right now it's a cinema theater, but slowly it will come into electricity, housing, every aspect of your life where you will be able to pay only through digital. For example, school fees, for example, house rent, all that thing will undergo a massive change. So the color of money is changing, it has become electric, it has become electronic, where you no longer use coins and notes to pay. Even small transactions will be paid only through the digital medium. So banks will disappear, the mutual funds houses, the financial houses will become big, and people will be learning. The second most important destructive force is the end of the education, the beginning of new era of education. Earlier you had the CBSE board, you had the ICSE board, you had the many boards across. All these boards will become defunct. In fact, the entire education system will become global. You will be able to get a degree both online. Most of the degrees would be online. You would be getting degrees from America, Australia, England, New Zealand, anywhere you wish. You will be able to get a degree. You will also be able to train any kind of skill. For example, you want to learn dancing, poetry, music, anything, you would be able to learn from that. Plus, you would be able to learn also the many aspects of suppose the company talks about a corporate program, management program, all that will become digital. You will no longer be employed based on your degree, but based on your skill ability. For example, what are the skill abilities you have and how it will be used. that will be the major thing which will be there than anything else. So do not get lost in the idea of putting your words in the schools, colleges, and it will all become digital, where you can study from the house at your leisure. You would be able to read in your pace. Everything will go. It will not only be Byju's app, there will be millions of apps, and there will be millions of YouTube videos where you can learn everything online. And also there will be tests which will be conducted, and you would go into the act of using the test. The third thing is the form of democracy will change. You no longer need ballot papers, you no longer need the ballot thing. All you need is to do is an ID, create an ID, go inside, and you will be able to vote. You will be able to vote for your municipal election, Lok Sabha election, any kind of election across the globe. It will be like an opinion poll where you can cast your vote, use your ID, and do it across. This is a very, very important step. The fourth most important change what people will be having is all your identification will be digital. You no longer need to carry your passport, your what you call ID card or any card. It will be digital, and people will be able to access all your information about your past, present using these digital transactions, both your bank, your what you call online money transactions, or whatever you do. You will have your data will be there, and people will be given a digital certificate where they can use it across. Now this is going to be a major thing. The fourth thing is the evolution of cameras will happen in such a manner that you will have cameras everywhere. You will have cameras inside the house, outside the house. You would have cameras in the flat, cameras in the road. You will get recorded about everything and anything in the future. The other most important thing is the evolution of the cell phone, where you will have 5 TB cell phones, a small cell phone. You would be able to have 5 TB, and you will have huge kind of what you call it, like for example 20 gigabytes. The speed will increase a lot. Whatever you are seeing, it will increase almost 100 times in the coming 20 years. It is going to, mobile is going to be the major instrument where you would be able to watch videos, see it, and all things connected with mobile would undergo a massive change. The other most important thing is that of the travel industry would undergo a huge change. The leisure travel will increase, the regular business travel will cut down, and people will more and more move on to what you call video conferencing, Zoom conferencing. All that will happen. Suppose you are having an office, and the office, all of you will be expected to come into the conference and will be able to contribute towards that. And the other most important thing is the office hierarchy will get broken. Most of the structures will become flat or little wavy, and each vertical will be able to connect. And also you will have connection, like many people will work in different parts of India and they will be connected with Zoom or some kind of a technique app which will help them to work. So you will have the what you call it, the internet connection becoming stronger. So if you are in this thing, like many people work in different parts of Madras, but they connect with a common app. In the same way, they will get connected with the what you call all India, all global. The other most important thing is you will also have what you call it as lot of part-time workers which will be happening. There will be no permanent working. You hire people, hire a team, and then you release it across. That will be the future model of business. It won't be like this or like that. It will be a hire and fire basis. The corporation will undergo a change. It won't be like you're telling people that, okay, I'm going to work for next 20 years, 30 years. There won't be any kind of permanency as far as the job is concerned. So job cuts will be very, very natural, and many people will find it very, very difficult to accept that these kind of instability will be happening. You will also be born in one country, travel to many countries, you will get educated in many countries, and you will get and married to many countries. For example, a guy can be born in India, he might grow up in UK, and then he might study in Azerbaijan, and then he can have a job in New Zealand, he can get married to a Italian, and he might have his children in New York City. So the globe is going to be like a village where people will crisscross the globe a lot. So in that sense, travel industry will increase and national identity will get erased. Many people, you cannot come to a conclusion what kind of nationality you are as a person. That is going to change a lot with people, and many people will not have a national identity. It will be a multinational identity. Imagine an Indian woman getting married to a Jewish man, and she's having a what you call Negro mother, daughter-in-law, and she's having a what you call it as a white women father and mother-in-law. Like that, interracial marriage will increase, and also love marriage will increase, and all types of marriage will increase. So please understand this. And anyway, I saw one lady getting married to a dog. People will love dogs in the future so much that most of the people having kids will become a big issue, and people will try to have a lot of problem with regard to that. IVF will become a norm, and many people will go into artificial insemination like the bull and the cow, and they will not find it very easy to inseminate, impregnate, and there will be a lot of problem will be there. So please understand, this will be a big model shift which will be happening, and many people will choose career and money over the family. You will see people getting married and living at two different parts of the continent, two different parts of the state, two different parts of the city, and they would probably meet in the weekend. So people will be very interested. What you call, women will choose their career before the marriage, and also they would like to keep their career and money strong. This will undergo a massive shift. Earlier it was not like that, but then this will undergo a massive shift. And the other one is, you will also have a lot of adoption which will be happening. Lot of people will adopt children, and adoption will be a very common thing across. So please don't misunderstand me if I tell you this particular thing. So the part 2 of the video, what all the other trends will come for you. Please do take care, and this is Gopalakrishnan signing off. You like us, subscribe and click the bell icon. You will get a lot of useful update which will be very helpful for your life. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and may you do well in your life. Namaste. Today I am going to talk about astrology itself. Many people call astrology as a pseudoscience, and many people want to criticize astrology at the drop of the hat. If they don't want to say something, they'll say, I am not an astrologer, I am a very intelligent person, I don't believe in astrology. All that thing they would be saying. Now, there is no problem in expressing the opinion. You can just simply say, I don't know about astrology, but basically I don't want to comment about astrology. But people don't understand, Navagrahas has been existing for time immemorial. So they are considered as a devata in Hinduism, and there is a curse of the devata which has been explained in many Hindu texts across. The curse of Brahma, the curse of Vishnu, the curse of Shakti, like that it is being explained. So any person who is going to talk about astrology in a very negative manner is going to invoke the curse of the Navagrahas, not only to himself but in his family and lineage across. So please understand something very clearly about this. You can be a saint, you can be a so-called a well-known, world-famous saint, but the curse of the Navagrahas will operate on you as a person. Now, this is not taken seriously, or this is not being understood by many of these so-called saintly followers who condemn astrology, who try to say astrology is bad, that whatever will happen only. You will invoke the curse of all the 9 planets, and because astrology is a sacred science, it has survived for time immemorial in the manner. Now, for example, Hinduism talks about the birth of the saint based on the astrological parameter. This particular masa, this particular nakshatra, this particular dashabhukti they were born across. For example, the Krishna's nakshatra Rohini and he is born in an Ashtami is an astrological parameter which is being celebrated across. In fact, all the Hindu festivals are based on the movements of the sun and the moon. Vinayaka Chaturthi, it means the sun must be in Simha and therefore it should be a what you call Chaturthi Tithi. It is celebrated as Vinayaka Chaturthi. Now, for example, you take Onam, it is the position in which the sun is there in the own house and the moon comes into the Trivona Nakshatra. So please understand, many of the saints in India are actually, they tell he is born at a particular Pilavana Samvatsara, Sadharna Samvatsara, he is Binava, he is born on the Raudra Gori Samvatsara. The Samvatsara, the Tithi Vara Nakshatra is explained very clearly right at the birth itself for many people. Unfortunately, all these saints who have not studied astrology, who does not understand the Navagraha's curse, goes on talking about rubbish about astrology without understanding it is a sacred science which has survived for time immemorial. The second point is, even the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, before he took the Mahasamadhi, asked them to read the particular dates and he tried to take his Samadhi in a manner. It is better, all these astrologers don't talk about this. You are frightened of politician because if you talk negative about any politician, the repercussion will be huge. For example, if Jaggi Vasudev were to talk something rubbish about Narendra Modi, BJP people will come and invoke a lot of wrath and they will try to bring their power and they show their power. In the same manner, if you try to talk something negative about the Navagrahas or about the astrology without understanding, there will be karmic consequences for your action. So I request Jaggi Vasudev and other people that please don't talk about astrology. Since you have not studied astrology, you have not practiced astrology in a deep manner, you don't have any right. And the second thing is, you will be invoking the wrath of the Navagrahas where you will have lot of problem. It is said Lord Saturn will curse people who talk ill about astrology because Saturn is Kala. Saturn is not only black, it represents the element of time, it represents the wheel of time across as a person. So therefore now you see they can invoke the curse. Now without understanding, without knowing something about it, these people would like to comment about a lot of things because astrology, like Brahmins, are not going to oppose you. They are going to continue doing the job. So please understand, if you do not know about astrology, it's better to keep quiet. If you talk something about Ayurveda, you might not have been cursed so much than astrology. In astrology, the Navagrahas are worshipped in all the Shaivite temple again and again. Whether you like it or not, they are going to be worshipped for time immemorial. So without understanding the concept of astrology, without understanding the concept and the power of the Navagrahas, don't treat it like a scientific thing. It is not a science, it is an esoteric science which has its own rules and regulations across. Actually, I met an elderly person who told me very beautifully, he gave me the insight. Don't tell Shani is giving problem, don't tell Guru is giving the problem, because you will invoke the curse and the wrath of the Navagrahas. Tell, because of your karma, the Saturn in the chart can give you problem across. So please understand that the Navagrahas are Devata. Navagrahas has a lot lot of esoteric significance which we do not understand. They are worshipped in the temple. They have a special temple in Kumbhakonam. They have special temple across different parts of the India, which means they are considered equivalent to God. For example, in Sunny Shingarpur, the sun is worshipped in a black stone, and also the Navagrahas in the Rahu Ketu. For example, you have the Kshetra of Pambar Bansala, you have Kalahasti, you have Tirunageshwaram. Like that, there are a lot of areas the Navagrahas are worshipped. So without understanding the esoteric science part of it, Jaggi Vasudev or other people should not talk about it, because they will get the curse of the Navagrahas. I am not trying to threaten. I am talking with an understanding, and I am talking with a lot of sympathy about people who are not understanding about astrology. That is why many people get into all kinds of problem, because they have the curse of the Navagrahas and they are unable to come out of the thickening of the karma. Your third eye will close, your Antakarna will close, and the black vortex will open up, which will create the exaggeration of your negative karma. So please understand, it is like me talking about Shiva or Vishnu or Muhammad or Christ without understanding the consequences. That time has given them as a particular place. I do not know how to go to that place or how to judge whether the time is given or not. But many people, without the understanding that time is the best judge, do not try to understand about the time. You can talk about anything, you can think about anything, you can understand about anything, you can have intention about anything, but what you don't understand is this is time is beyond all these components. Time influences the mind. The mind cannot influence the time without the ritual. That is why they say it is viparita kale vinasa buddhi, which means in your bad time you will start thinking negatively, you will be talking negatively across a person. So please understand the entire thing across without trying to understand this. Talking bad about the astrology, Navagrahas, you will invoke the direct curse. Now this is especially true for Jaggi Vasudev, because first of all you put yourself as Sadguru and all the thing. That's okay, that is something very personal of you, but without understanding, don't talk rubbish about astrology or astrologers, because you can get cursed. If you have the guts, try to talk about politician, try to talk about businessman. If they themselves can bring so much of power and make your mouth shut down, Navagrahas also will bring a lot of power and force you to acknowledge that astrology exists. There was a person whom I know who used to oppose astrology. After 20 years, I see him that he said, I truly believe in astrology as a person. So the point is, situation will change. Navagrahas will force you to acknowledge their presence. They are called as the magi of time and in the other esoteric tradition. So please understand this. This is very, very helpful to you, and it's an earnest appeal to all the people that please don't get the curse of Navagrahas. Thank you.